Hello, everyone. I'm Yasmin Taj, Managing Editor with People Matters, and I'm extremely excited to welcome you all to the finale session of Top Jobs in India 2.0, and Indeed and People Matters initiative to help people find jobs. For our new viewers, this is an initiative to showcase companies that are hiring right now and to get a sneak peek into the organization so we can learn about their culture, their hiring plans for 2021, and the key skill sets they are looking for. You can visit the website to view the past sessions and absolutely go ahead and apply at your favorite organization. So, wouldn't all of us love to be a part of a company that is progressive, disruptive, and forward thinking? Luckily, the company we have with us today promises to offer a friendly and inclusive work environment where you will learn, grow, and be challenged every day. And today we are hosting EYGDS, who are on the lookout to hire some of the best talent for their open positions. And I have the pleasure of having with me Sri Suki Sudharshan, Director, Global Leader Talent Acquisition at EYGDS. Sri Suki Sudharshan leads talent acquisition at EY Global Delivery Services for all six locations. She is a proven HR leader with over 22 years of progressive and comprehensive international experience in all areas of HR in the services industry. A visionary and innovative leader with expertise in talent acquisition and management, designing HR solutions and global delivery models, organizational transformation and transitions, client relations with the ability to run independent business units with high standards of delivery and lean operations. She has an exceptional track record of setting up and building businesses from scratch in the areas of TA for clients across APAC, AME, Europe, and Americas. I am really looking forward to the conversation here and to find out more about life at EYGDS and what it is like to work in one of the most progressive and innovative companies today. But before I jump into the questions, let me once again welcome Suki and request her to share a little bit more about EYGDS. Thank you, Suki, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Same here. Thank you so much, Yasmin. Thanks for giving me
Thank
another
you.
opportunity
Could
to
you
have a discussion with you all.
Absolutely. Looking forward to hearing some great insights from you, Suki. Could you tell us a little bit about the company first before we jump to our questions and our conversation?
Sure. So EY Global Delivery Services is, spread across in the six locations you already mentioned, and then we are also looking at uh, expanding our businesses to a lot more other Europe and Americas markets very soon. So we definitely support EY and also our clients in various different businesses in the technology and in the non-technology, which is our core business of audits and tax. We are over about 50,000 employees now, and definitely looking at growing to be 150,000 employees in next 2 to 3 years.
Wow, the numbers are great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think this is something that will really pep up our audience today. So let's start with my first question for you, Suki. How do you foresee the overall job market in India shaping up in the next 6 to 9 months?
I think the job market in India is quite promising and it's good currently. Of course, we do have some of the industries which are impacted with this unfortunate situations that we all are going. But at the same time, I think there are some industries which are really doing well, like, for example, all the technology
Yeah.
organization, because we are left with no choice but being digital during this time, right? To um, you know um, do any kind of business across the globe. So from that point of view, if you look at it, those industries are really, really booming. And EY GD is also becoming, I mean, being a technology hub for EY and our clients, at least it looks very, very promising for me for the next 6 to 9 months.
That's great to know, actually. Yes, indeed, some industries did get a negative impact of it, but some industries did actually had to really ramp up their hiring because there was more need and more demand for them. So I think, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing that. For our audience here, if you have any comments or questions for Suki, please do paste them in the chat section and we'll take them up during our conversation. So Suki, what are the major roles that you're planning to hire for in the next few months? And anything on the hiring volumes or the numbers that you're looking at?
Sure. So I think our demands are equally distributed, though we have a lot of focus on our technology hiring currently. But we would also be equally hiring for our the core business, which is the tax and audits, where we are hiring a lot of CAs and CPAs. Um, so that definitely is there, but as I said, technology takes a little more higher priority currently, because the demands are more there. So we have quite a lot of hiring in the cloud, digital skills, DNA, in the enterprise solutions and ServiceNow, and all of those skills. Cyber security is another booming skill. So we do have a lot of demands in all of this. Numbers, volumes, if I have to say, easily 2000 to 2500 every month is what we are
Wow.
hiring currently. So there is no shortage in volume, quite a lot.
Quite a lot. I'm sure our audience must be jumping with excitement hearing the numbers, because if they're looking for a job and a brand like EYGDS, this is a great opportunity. So thanks for sharing that, Suki. How about locations that you're planning to hire for? Do you have specific locations in mind, or are you open to any geography since everyone's anyways working virtually now?
Absolutely right. I mean, the location doesn't matter anymore,
Yeah.
uh, because so we are quite open that way. Of course, from the country point of view, if you're looking at it, our majority of our hiring are in India, definitely,
Hmm.
followed by the APAC and the Europe markets. And in India, it doesn't really matter which city. So we are first of all spread across in all the major cities of India. We do
Hmm.
have our offices, but currently with this kind of a situation and the virtual hiring proven to be really, really effective, it really doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
across India, anywhere. Yeah,
That actually gives you a very large talent pool as well, right? Because you are not
absolutely.
restricted by geography then. Yes. So great
Yeah.
opportunities there as well. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Also, could you share some insights on the kind of skills that you're looking for when you're talking about the positions that you just discussed with us?
Okay, so if I have to talk about the technical skills, then it's a huge list,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and I'm sure our audience are very well aware when I'm talking about, the technology in the cyber, cloud, digital, DNA, or enterprise solutions. They're very well aware what are the latest trend and the skills are available. So probably I can touch up a little bit of the quality that we are looking in our candidates, right? That's also a skill set that we look at. So we would definitely look at the people who are very purpose driven, who can bring in the best of themselves and bring in the best in others, right? That's for sure. We're looking for people who are agile, who gives importance to the well-being for
Yes.
themselves and for the people around, people who are curious, who wants to learn more, who are fearless, and taking risk without having a fear of failing. It's okay to
Yes.
fail. Yeah, so those are definitely the skill set that we would look for in our candidates.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree. These are the skills which are in demand. Doesn't matter what industry, what level, what job you're doing. I think, having agility, being resilient, being
Yes,
purpose driven, open to change. I think the kind of change we've seen in the past 1.5 years, everybody had to adapt to it. So people who could adapt easily are the ones who are, smooth, sailing smoothly right now. If I'm correct.
absolutely. Yes.
Yes, great, great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Also, how about the work-life culture at EYGDS? If you could tell me a little more about that, Suki.
Okay, work-life culture. I mean, I think it's one of my favorite topic, and I can talk the entire day on that. I mean, if I have to tell that something in a very short way, Yasmin, it is definitely beyond work, right? As an organization, our one of the priorities and the value and the culture that we really look at is bringing in that belongingness for all our employees, right? So because we truly believe that when you feel belonged in that organization, then it's just like your home. That's where you feel belong and you're comfortable, right? And that's exactly what we look at. We want our employees to feel at home and just be themselves, and you know be able to do what they want to do. So it doesn't really matter whether you're available now to for a call, or you're not available because you need to attend to somebody at home, or your neighbor, it doesn't really matter. You can just tell that, and then the whole organization is there to support you, right? And especially with this COVID time, with the kind of crisis that we are seeing, and the impact in the society, we do want our people to be a lot more humane and sensitive and agile, and have that freedom to make those decisions. And so that's the culture that we keep encouraging and developing in our organization. So it is beyond work. It is not just the employee that matter to us. It is their entire loved ones and their families.
Absolutely. I think in the past 1 year, one thing that we came to realize was while technology became very important, being human became even more important. I think empathy, how do you deal with your people? How connected are they feeling with the organization in times like this? I think that's very important. And if EYGDS could do that and create that sense of belongingness and family for their people, I think that's a long way to go. That's a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the current situation, the COVID-19, has taught all of us a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? And I'm quite proud about some of the things that we do as an organization. The way we track, all our employees, their well-being. Whether, I mean, they don't need to be impacted, and we pray that nobody gets
Yeah.
impacted. But still, there's a lot more. Um, you know, uh, Care and the checks that we have put in place to ensure that all our employees and their well-being are in place the way that we want it. We are also, providing all the support for the people who have been impacted, right from getting them hospital beds to the oxygen to the right treatments, to ensure that they get all those emotional and the other supports, of course, financial, physical support, all of that we would definitely provide, but even the emotional support to bring them back to that, the well-being state. So there is a lot of those. So that's what I said, beyond work, because
Yeah.
and it's not just for the employees, but it's even for their families, their dependents, and their loved ones, anyone. We extend that.
Great. So I also totally agree. I think organizations who've been able to show that side to the employees are going to be the employers of choice going forward for any person who wants to start a career at, who wants to work with a company for which the people really do matter. So thank you for sharing that, Suki. Great. How about some? Have you heard you have some great diversity and inclusion programs at EYGDS? Can you tell us a little more about some of these programs?
Of course, another few more things that I can say that I'm extremely proud of. So we do have, and I did have a chance to talk about it before. We have some program called Rewrite, Reinstate, wherein we bring in women who have taken a break, who've been on sabbatical, bring them back, provide them the right trainings, upskilling them, and then getting them market ready, right? And they would definitely be placed in EY, and if they also want to look at some other opportunities, they would be market ready. So and it doesn't really matter whether they have any experience in those skills, or whether they have previous experience in those skills. We have brought in a lot of people who've been in a very different field, and then trained them in the technology for 6 months, 8 months, and then got them into a permanent role with us. So those things, and then of course we do have our um, communities that we work for, LGBTQ, and then for the disabled, um, people with disability and all of that. So but one of the things that I definitely want to talk about is, during this COVID time, um, we realize that um, you know there are a lot of families who've lost the breadwinners, due to COVID. And probably those are the women who've been a homemaker, and left in lurch now without knowing what to do, because they've lost their husband, and then they have to run the family and their children. just never had worked in the past and never been in the corporate, never had those experience. So we definitely want to reach out to those people, bring those women, train them, and then find them a role. So even when I say train them, it's already taking them as a contractor with us, with a salary, and then train them in different skills with, whatever the skills that suits them, and then find them a permanent role. So that's something that we really want to do. We've just started our initiation on that with few women, but do want to expand that.
Wow, I must say, I think that kind of makes you stand out as an employee. I haven't heard of an initiative like that where actually you're going out and reaching out to those people who've actually been impacted the worst. They don't know how to go forward with their future, and you're helping those people find a place in the workplace, and help their families. So I think it's a beautiful thought. That's I kudos to you for taking up this initiative.
Thank you so much. Whatever little that we can do for
Absolutely.
our
I think
side.
it's not little. I think it's a great, and it will have a huge impact also. I think all our audience members will agree to that. So thank you, Suki. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Great. Also, since the past 1.5 years, the entire recruitment process has become virtual. Hiring is virtual. Can you tell us about an assessment is also virtual? How are you managing all of this in the virtual environment? Have the processes or the way you do all of this changed?
Yes, the way we are doing it has changed, though the criterias have not changed. So our assessment criterias are still the same, but the way we do that has definitely changed. It's all become virtual. A lot more technology driven now, right? Before there used to be a lot of personal connect. So we invite our the candidates and the aspirants to come to our campus, and there is a touch and feel. We make them do those assessments physically, and then the rounds of interviews and things like that. But of course we do miss that. But now it's all technology driven, so it's all with a click of a button, right? They apply, they get a link, for all their assessments, whether it is psychometric or whether it is technical skills. They do that in their mobile or in their laptop, and then once that's done, then they get another link which they just have to accept for their with their suitable timings, and then they are ready for their video interviews. And like how we are talking now, we talk to our candidates virtually on a video call, and then the decisions are made. So it's completely virtual, and it's a totally different experience. It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Even onboarding and post onboarding, even the starting and working together, right? It's all
Yeah.
virtual now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good, I think the most all organizations had to take that chance of taking a recruitment virtually, hiring virtually, and it's working well for them. I think maybe in the
Absolutely.
future we might come back to a combination of physical and virtual, but I think right now this is the best way to go forward.
Yes, you're right. And I think even if, and I hope we all get back to the normal quickly, but even if when we go back to our normal days in the future, I think these practices may not go away, because it
Yes.
does save a lot of time for the employers and for the candidates, and things are done much more faster and an easier way. So I think these practices would stay.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on whether EYGDS plans to remain as a hybrid work model going forward, or completely virtual work model going forward? What are your plans for that?
I think we would go into a hybrid model,
Mhm.
um, uh, because there is a need of, the people connect. So we
Yes.
would bring them to office, and to have those more connect with the leaders, and to do a lot of things that needs to be done together. Whether it is the training programs, or it is working on some special projects and those kind of stuffs. But yes, there is a lot of opportunity to be working remotely. So the percentage would be higher on the remote working, and lesser on the work. So there would be a hybrid model that way.
Yeah, great, great. Thanks for sharing that. I can see a few audience questions are coming up. There's a question that says, "Does EY offer any certified course in IT or audit related industry?"
Yes, we do have some programs, for some certification programs in the finance, of course. Technology, we are still coming up with few sub. There are some, of course, we have, everyone would have heard of our, the MBA from HALT that we are
Hmm.
offering for all our employees, and that's open to all. And we just have to talk about I mean, so we have something called badges, the training programs, uh, where they can choose their interest, and once you are done with those courses, you earn some badges to it. So you have different levels of like silver, gold, platinum badges, and then once you get a set of badges, then you are eligible for the Tech MBA program with Hult University. So, quite a lot of certification and the programs that we have. So they can
Great.
choose whether it needs to be on the business, technology, leadership, whatever, and they can choose, and they do have that programs.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. Also, so since we are anyways talking about training programs, I think I'll jump to that question first. Are there any specific upskilling and training programs that you would like to share with our audience today?
I think training and upskilling, cross skilling is a part of our culture, and it is so important, and we keep giving a lot of um, effort and our energy into it, right from the beginning, right? So when we are hiring freshers, we have something called a boot camp. So we, much before even the fresh graduates coming in, we put them through a boot camp program to get them ready to make their journey easy from a college to a corporate, right? So we do train them technical skills, the soft skills, all that it is required that from day one they can be successful. So very specific trainings from there on. And then as per their career aspirations, there are various different levels of upskilling that they go through. We do have our career families, so they can choose, within the career. So we are as an organization, we are quite open that way to choose your career path to grow. So we do have people moving from finance and operations into technology, and from a technology into mergers and acquisitions, and the cross career paths. And so they can choose how they want to go in, and they have throughout the training and upskilling programs, and they can clear those, and then they can keep moving into various different career dimensions.
Great. I think that's interesting. If you can align your individual, career goals with the organization's goal, I think learning plays a very great part in helping people do that. So, great. Thanks for saying that, Suki. Coming back to the virtual interview process, are there any tips that you'd like to share with us for our candidates to help them stand out in virtual interviews?
I would say just be yourself, right? That's what the best thing that we want
Absolutely.
to
Right.
see in any of our candidates, right? Just be yourself. Share the, whatever the best knowledge that you have with confidence. Be authentic. Be fearless. It's okay. We are not expecting all our candidates to know everything 100%. We are only looking at, what's the interest that you have in learning, and how much trainable, right, the people are. So that's what we are looking at. So it's okay if you don't know a few things, just be yourself and be authentic and tell us. It's okay, and we would be more than happy to have you with us.
That's a very nice advice. I think being authentic, that's something people fear. They fear showing their real self at times, and they try to pretend to be somebody else in a virtual interview. But I think that's very nicely said, that you're authentic and you're fearless, and you might not be perfect, but that's what it is all about. So thanks. Those are some great tips. Thanks, Suki. Also, how about the hierarchy at EYGDS? Do you have like a flat structure, or do you still have some hierarchy embedded in the organization culture?
Um, Do we have a hierarchy? Yes. Do we have a pyramid? Yes. And why do we need that? It is for a certain set of roles and responsibilities, right? And that needs to be done. Um, so we do have an hierarchy. But when it comes to delivering to the client what we have promised, it's a flat organization. And that's what I really love about EY. We are really, really flat when it comes to our promises to the clients and what we are delivering to our clients. Um, all of us have equal roles and responsibility when it comes to that, and there is no hierarchy at that point of time. And it doesn't matter which grade or rank or level that you are in. Everyone has a equal, opportunity to raise and share their thoughts, their ideas, and implement that. It doesn't go through a hierarchy. They have that freedom to do that if that's the best for the client, right? And hence I call it as flat because um, and as I said, even if there is a hierarchy, if it is a deliverable, all of us get our hands dirty. So it really doesn't matter what level you are in when it comes to that. So there, I would call it we are very, very flat.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes, as every organization, we also have a hierarchy with a very defined set of roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, and I think it's required because it puts structure in an organization that way. So you need to have that structure somewhere, and that's the role. But as you said, otherwise it's all flat, it's all open, it's all transparent. I think that is what makes employers great these days. So thanks for sharing that. Also, since we're talking about, we were discussing a few roles that you're hiring for, and a lot of audience members usually ask us this question: Are you hiring freshers? Do you have roles for freshers also?
We do, we do.
Okay.
So at least about 20-25% of our total hiring comes from the campus and the
Wow.
freshers out off campus too. So we do hire a lot of them.
Great, great, great. So I have a few more audience questions. Before I have come to the final question for you, I'll take in some audience questions, Suki.
Sure.
One of our members is asking, could you share some insights on the rewards and recognition programs at EY?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, we believe in the rewards benefits as very holistically, and we have a complete program on that. Like every organization, of course, EY also has in terms of the usual rewards of your salary, your variable bonus. You have incentives for the extra projects and all of that you work on. Usual the medicals, insurance, not just covered for the employee, but for the families, their dependents, their parents. We also cover for their in-laws. So two sets of parents, right? All of that, we do it, but we also give a lot of importance for the well-beings of our employees. And when I say well-being, it is physical, mental, emotional, financial well-being. So we drive a lot of programs on all of these to ensure that all our employees feels that they are financially secure, they are physically, emotionally, mentally very healthy. So that those are also part of our entire benefit program. And recognition is a part of our culture again. We call it as EY appreciate. That's what we call that program. uh, for there's a lot of avenues for us to recognize our people on the real time, for various different ways. I mean, it can be as simple as you're just extending a helping hand to your colleague. Even that gets recognized in a very formal way, with rewards, and that rewards can be definitely financial rewards, right? So they do get the financial rewards, points, vouchers, and those kind of stuff as as simple
Yeah.
as that. To definitely a recognition, very structured recognition program of the best employer of the month, and in every team, and then the best team, and those kind of quite a lot of categories that we have.
Yes.
The clients also can recognize. So we also have, a very structured way of getting our clients to recognize the contribution of our teams, and then we reward them for those. So there are various different things, and even the teams and the colleagues can do that for each other.
Great, thanks. Thanks for answering that question. I hope our audience member got the answer that they were looking for. And there's another question that I have. It's from an HR professional. So she asks, there are a lot of HR professionals in the audience today. Maybe can you tell us about how the role of TA has changed during the pandemic? And are there any new skills that TA professionals need to learn?
Okay, so something that probably not just the TA but all of us in HR needs to learn is, you know, um, um, thinking on our feet, right? And then making decisions and quickly acting upon things during this pandemic time. That's something that a skill that I've seen that we are using quite a lot in the last 1.5 year, and then being extremely agile, because you have, I mean, during this time in the, at least in the TA world, we've never been really successful in terms of forecasting what could be the demand and how to plan our hiring and things like that, because it just keeps changing. It's very very it's a very vulnerable outside. I mean, it is, the demands can come in at any point of time, and we need to just immediately action those. So one of those skills is that, openness to change, openness to challenges, the new kind of, the challenges that gets thrown at you, and still keep that smile and the confidence, and then just deliver, right, and just focus and keep running and delivering. And and I would say it is not just for TA, my dear friend. I think it is for all of us in HR, um, because you're, as much as you're looking at hiring people and meeting these new demands during this time, we're also equally being on our toes and working for the well-being of all our employees as a HR person. So the situations keep changing every hour there too. So I think this is the skills that we all require now.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree with you. The entire HR function became like the spotlight of the change that came through via the pandemic last year. They had to go through, make sure everything was being managed. They were supporting business, they were supporting employees. They're really at the center, the core of this entire transformation. So I think kudos to all HR professionals for that.
Yeah.
Great,
I would
great.
say, the VHR world has become the frontline workers for our
Yeah,
employees, just like, you know,
totally, totally. Essential workers.
absolutely.
Great. Thanks. Thanks, Suki. So now it's time for my final question for you, Suki. If you had to call out three things on why a candidate should join EYGDS, what would those be?
Okay. I would say that, you need to join us if you are seriously looking at a transformation and being a part of a transformation and innovation. If you want to explore new skills, new set of work that which you've never tried your hands on, and if you are looking at a very open culture where you can just be yourself, and share your ideas and thoughts without any fear. If these are the things that you're looking at, yes, you need to be a part of us.
Sorry, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think I totally agree with you. If people want to be part of a transformation, as you said, if you want to be part of innovation that's happening, if you want to explore new kinds of work, and if you want to work in an environment which is open, transparent, and which actually encourages and appreciates ideas, as you said, I think that's why you should certainly join EYGDS. So, on that note, that was all the time we had today, Suki. Thank you so much for taking our time and taking us through why EYGDS is such a great employer to work for. So thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, Asmin. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Our pleasure indeed. So, for everyone else, this is it for this session now. What a fantastic journey it has been for all of us at People Matters and Indeed. We would like to extend our gratitude to Indeed, who partnered with us in helping us formulating such an insightful campaign. And not to forget the top organizations from the country who collaborated with us and supported us in this initiative. We hope through this campaign we were able to help our community provide the right knowledge and opportunities and the HR leaders with the right talent. You can still apply for jobs on Top Jobs in India 2.0 page. Thank you once again, Suki, for joining us and
Thank
in the
you.
finale episode of this session. And take care and stay safe, everyone. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.